Okay, so let's get it started. This is how roughly our agenda for today looks like. We'll start with a thesis that actually this presentation and actually our whole offering is built upon, that we have an insufficient talent pool in our community, in Dynamics community. Then I'll try to explain what are the key benefits of development outsourcing and what actually this development outsourcing is. Then we'll look at possible applications of development outsourcing, including real-life examples, and I hope that you will find it a real treat, because this will be real inquiries that we receive from our customers, of course anonymized, but you will get the gist, no problem. And then we'll move on to customer, to telling you about customer stories, success stories, and how our customers benefit from our offering. Okay, so if you can relate with this sentence, with this premise that we have insufficient talent pool in our community, then listening to this presentation will be of immense value for you, really. More often than not, I hear from other partners, also from Microsoft at some conferences, that we have a really high dependency on the talent availability. So actually, the future of our community, the future of Dynamics, relies heavily upon talent availability. In one survey that I observed during Directions conference, there were around 20 partners. They were answering several questions. One of them was, how much of an issue is talent acquisition, retention, training for you? They said it's 8 out of 10. So this is a lot of an issue. In my own words, I tend to say that nowadays it might be even easier to land a customer than to find a good developer. And if companies are pressed with those challenges, they tend to look for solutions. And we have a few, to be honest. They would go to outsourcing, like I would say general or generic outsourcing companies. They would go to headhunters or try to build their team outside of their core team. So they are doing nearshoring or offshoring. They're trying to build their own HR department or hire freelancers. All those options are available. They have their pros, they have their cons. But today we'll try to talk about another solution that not everybody knows is available, but it offers actually all that partners tend to expect in terms of availability, flexibility, quality, and affordability of the service that we provide. We think that development outsourcing from another Dynamics partner is really very close to a perfect solution. Let's have a look. These are key benefits explained. One of them is flexibility, because this is actually the most sought for quality of such service, because companies really enjoy the fact that they can start cooperation whenever they want, they can put it to a halt whenever they want. We have junior, medium, and also senior developers available. They come at different flavors, so they have different specialties. Some of them would be experts in reports, some would be experts in interfaces. They integrate with other systems. Some of them have really huge experience with logistics or some experience with retail. So they really come at different flavors. There is no minimum quota. So we have customers who come to us every second month and order, 2 or 3 hours? And that's also fair, that's possible. And this can be a part-time engagement. So you don't need to hire or rent a full-time developer. You can just select whatever you need. Yes, it can be even like a combination of two of them, 10 hours of junior developer per month for simpler, more repetitive tasks, and 5 to 10 hours of senior developer or an architect who'd help you design the system. What is very important is that we already have more than decent experience with AL and extensions, so we are like a true business central partner. And what I said at the beginning, it's equally simple to start working with us, but this is a no-brainer, right? Everybody will tell you that. But it's also very simple to put the cooperation to a halt, to freeze it. Yeah, we need just information a couple of days in advance that, okay, you are recalling our developer because he has done whatever he was assigned to, and now we can assign him to another customer. Okay, then we have availability. We enjoy this special situation that those developers, they're our employees. Yeah, so they normally work on projects, assignments for our end customers, and some of their time is booked, is reserved for this outsourcing service. So most often it's a kind of a mix that they work for end customers and they work also for other partners as outsourcing developers. So they really know their stuff, right? They are guys who simply on a daily basis are facing the customer. They are used to working under pressure. They really deliver. And thanks to that they are our employees, we can guarantee a really good availability, because these are the targets that we aim to achieve every time we are approached by a new customer. So within 4 hours, we will send a blind CV of one of the developers that we think is most up for the task. Then within 24 hours, we'll organize a phone interview. And typically within 5 days, we are ready to start cooperation. Okay, I'll make a short pause here. Could you feedback me one more time if the quality of sound is okay? Okay, perfect. So if the quality of sound is okay, so is the quality of our developers, because we every developer, especially more junior or medium level developers, they get senior supervision, especially at the start of cooperation with a new customer. We have a very detailed recruitment process. At some point in time, I calculated that we hire one person per 100 applications. So it's not very simple to join our team. We are very selective. That's why maybe we don't grow like crazy. We have 25 people right now, but the quality is there. Plus, we are firm believers in constant learning. So in this regard, we are heavy users of Dynamics Learning Portal. Yes, also at the beginning of this year, we had AL extensions training with one of Microsoft MVPs, Aaron Jan Kaufman. By the way, I really think every partner should do something like this. So our developers are really up for the task when it comes to this modern tools, working with AL, working with extensions. And number 4 is affordability, because it will only make sense if we are able to provide a fair price that will enable you to earn a healthy margin, right? So we come from a country in Central Europe, from Poland, where the quality and the number of developers is huge, while the costs are still below what you could get in Western Europe or North America, some parts of Asia. So we enjoy moderate salaries and therefore can provide moderate rates for the developers that we outsource. So we are at a certain cost advantage that we can share with our partners. Plus, when you use outsourcing, you have no structural cost. You don't need to build your own HR department. You don't need to pay to your admin and payroll workers to provide services for your employees. You don't need to purchase a mobile phone or a computer or software for those developers, because this is what we provide. Yeah. So basically, you don't have any overhead. You just have a direct cost on a developer. It's a flat hourly or daily rate. That's it. And also, I would like to point out the fact that nowadays, when many partners have really more work that they can deal with, using outsourcing is not really about cutting costs, because our role is not to replace your developers. We don't have any partner who was thinking along these lines. So there was never a situation that a partner wanted to replace their developers with our services. The only feasible and reasonable situation and solution is that we expand capacity of your team. So we are not there to minimize costs. We are there to maximize your profits. So we are there to help you to reach to the customers that otherwise you would have to abandon because you don't have enough development power. That's the idea behind it. Okay, now what are possible scenarios? Look, here we are looking at a typical and not so favorable situation when the number of employees is pretty much constant. We are not able to attract new employees, but the workload connected with projects that we realize is changing, because it always does. So where we come handy and what our positive impact is that we help you with dealing with those project peaks. So this is what I try to explain. We are not there to exchange your current employees. We are there to help them to deal with those project peaks so that they don't feel burned out and that you minimize the chance of missing deadlines. There are 4 typical applications that our customers, our partners use. One of them is connected with outsourcing small projects, like a batch of modifications or a small upgrade to us in Dynamics Nav and in Business Central. Some of our customers use us as their help desk support. So typically we will be like second level support, so that we don't communicate directly with their customers. But we are like the extension of their team. Some of the partners will use us as a short-term replacement in a situation when a developer resigns, sometimes out of a sudden. He would typically have 1 to 3 month notice period, but 1, 2, or 3 months is typically not enough to find a good developer who will replace them. So until you have like a permanent replacement in place, until you've been able to hire someone, you can use from our services to replace for a short term your employee that has quit, that has resigned. And number 4 is something maybe unexpected, but it's coming up more and more often, and more often and it's too often to neglect it, is that with GP partners that we know, we have a certain opportunity. Many of them will transition to Business Central now, but they have no idea how to code in Business Central. So this is when we come in handy, right? With our development skills, we can help them reach out to Business Central customers, because they need to reach out to them right now. Yeah, and now some real life examples. This is all anonymized, so we don't know what customer is that, but we know what they are actually explaining us to do. So some of the customers will send us like a functional design document outlining what needs to be done, outlining any functions or calculations that need to be in place. They would explain what kind of tables we need to work upon. In such situation, we are using some special code for the modification. Sometimes the customers would like to have a modification realized within a certain budget. Of course, we are able to challenge it, but actually with this customer, it's always very very reasonable. So that's number one. That's number one. Modifications. There's also one more. Number two is like object upgrade. Recently, we've been upgrading objects from NAV 2009. So these were forms to Dynamics 365 Business Central, where we had to come up with pages equivalents. So we of course were provided with like a full object list from the customer and full object package from the customer. Our task was to upgrade them to Business Central. We are also asked to deliver full upgrades, where we have like a current version, target version, target server as well. We are then advised whether or not we should upgrade to AL or to remain with CL, whether or not we need to upgrade both data and code and stuff like that. So yeah, after we receive such a document, we typically know what we will be going through, especially that these were already several upgrades from the same customer. Yeah, so this is basically it. So we have modifications, we have upgrades of set of objects or like full upgrades. Sometimes we are asked to provide customer with interfaces, so there will be also some detailed technical documentation for that. And now, who are the customers that we actually work with? We work both with partners and end customers, partners from Scandinavia, from Europe, in the UK, and Czech Republic, and also from North America. We have Canada here, and we have end customers both in Germany and in Poland. And I have selected two customer stories for you. They are as different as they can be, because success story one, this is like a huge customer among three biggest FMCG companies in the world. And this is a very simple service. I mean, we are just, from time to time, this customer would require from us to deliver a developer or also a consultant at a certain level. So we basically need to make a developer or consultant available. This developer, so we supply them, this developer or consultant then will be managed, fully managed by the customer. So the customer will make sure that they have something to do, that the scope and tasks are defined clearly, that the deadlines are met. They will also provide them with computers. This is a special situation because here we need to work on their computers within their networks. What we take care of is admin and payroll still, so some of the overheads. And this is like a summary of their feelings about the service. So they're happy that with our service, first, they get better availability because with their HR department, they were never able to hire as good developers or consultants as we can provide them with. Plus, it would take a very, very long time. They have less overheads because, okay, admittedly, they need to equip the developer consultant with a computer, but the admin, payroll, HR is on us. So these are the key strengths of this offering. And the second one is like a very, very small company. This is like a one-man show, really. A super experienced consultant in Denmark who at some point decided that, okay, I don't need to do all the development. It's better for my customers if I focus more on consultancy and also finding new opportunities within existing clients, also focusing on pre-sales. And at that time, he decided that he would use from our services. This one is a little bit more advanced because we both supply and manage resources. Together with this consultant, we define scope and tasks. We make sure that everything is done on time, on quality. The customer provides Azure environment for realizing the tasks. And we, of course, deal with admin and payroll. What he's mostly happy about is that he feels that we have a very good understanding, so that our developers understand everything. The first time it is explained to them. There is no minimum quota. This is the guy who would approach us probably every other month with a small modification to be done, a couple of hours. And he also enjoys that the service is always available for him. Okay, so how to start? There are many ways you can reach us. There's a phone, there's a website dedicated to outsourcing. There is this contact email. All of them will make you actually arrive at my desk. My first task would be to sign an NDA with you guys, because from this point we will be talking about your customers and our employees. So an NDA is very much in place so that everybody feels comfortable. And then we can organize a free trial. So if you can come up with a small modification, small project that we can do for free for you, so that you get a sense of how it is to work with us, that's a very good place to start. And you can find us not only on BC Developers. We have numerous other websites connected with our services. So if you are still curious, I strongly encourage you to go there, have a look for yourself, and come back to me if you have any questions or assignments you would like to discuss. So that will be it when it comes to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If there are now any questions, I will be happy to take them. So please type them in. This is typically an exciting moment because I don't know if you're going to type in a question or maybe you're going to type in thank you and bye-bye. What are experience about AL development? Is it harder to develop than NAV? Okay, so to be let's be a bit more specific. Is it harder to develop than NAV? You mean is it harder to develop than CL? In truth, most senior developers will find it harder, but it's probably only because they were used to doing things the old way. Most junior developers, they are very happy that they can work with Visual Studio Code, which is like a market standard. Many developers know that, even if they don't know Business Central. or Dynamics NAV. So I would say that the answer is it depends. The tricky thing here is that, and you probably all of you know that, is that it's not enough to know code in Business Central or in NAV, or it probably refers to all ERP systems. The developer needs to know the application very well, especially that with AL coding, they can place extensions only through events. So there are only certain places in the system where this extension can be placed, can be inserted. So the knowledge of application is a must, and I would say that this is actually the biggest hurdle. This is the biggest barrier to entry, not the coding itself. Okay, I hope I answered the question. Is there anything else? What is the assessment of a typical customization, for example, in the finance module? Well, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to say, because we have modifications ranging from 1 hour to 40 hours, even more. So it's very difficult to say. Probably the most popular are between 8 and 16, but this is not, it's not something that we can set in stone and say that 90% of modifications will fall into this category. Okay, is there anything else? Okay, Philippe, thank you for your comment. Yeah, I'll be happy to see you in Vienna. Based on my experience, all companies declare that they would like to standardize, but they are not always happy with the standard version. That's why we need to develop. So yeah, it's changing between the markets, because in the Western world, where the daily rate is comparatively higher to the license price than in, let's say, Central Eastern Europe, where I come from. In the Western world, installations that I know tend to be less customized because it's relatively more expensive. Although in the Central Eastern Europe, when the companies, when they decide to pay for the license, what they need to pay, it's already quite a lot compared to local competitors. So they typically have enough money to customize the system quite a lot. Okay. So nobody is typing right now. So I guess that's the. Oh, okay. There's one more. Do your customers use a cloud Business Central? With our end customers, we have 5 or several implementations that are on Azure, so in a subscription model, but this is not like a full SaaS. Yeah, so we still don't have any full SaaS implementation. But we work already with extensions and AL with other like more on-premise or hosted installations. Okay. Okay, so then thank you for your questions. I'll be happy to stay in touch. My colleague Jakub will send you the materials after today's presentation. Hope to hear back from you or see you in the future. Thank you for joining today. Thank you. Bye bye. I'm now stopping the recording.